Citi Breakfast Show will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
We understand the excitement and preparations that comes when your child gains admission into senior high school. But we at the Agricultural Development Bank, ADB PLC, also understand the financial burden this comes with. The chop box, trunk, school mattress, you name it. That's why we have partnered with Prospectus Ghana Limited to offer financial support for parents by introducing the ADB Quick Purchase. With a smart loan of up to 20,000 Ghana cedis, you can pick up all the items on your child's prospectus for school. ADB PLC offers you a repayment plan of 12 months to relieve you of all that heavy financial burden. Every ADB customer who receives their salaries through the bank, military and police personnel, and all other workers on the Controller and Accountant General's payroll qualify for this facility. Walk into any ADB branch nationwide or any Prospectus Ghana Limited office near you to apply for the ADB Quick Purchase. Terms and conditions apply. ADB, the People's Bank. ADB, truly a quick and more.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Just a mana, some boss, some tea, sumana, papa, none of play to my missing there. And so what are you? Only about them from a simple. What me up? Somebody, sumana,
some 6:37. There's still the Citi Breakfast Show. Coming up next is a newspaper review brought to us by Excellium from Total Energies. It has amazing 3-in-1 power. It will clean your engine, extend its life, and it will lower your fuel consumption. Excellium's new formula also lowers your fuel consumption while reducing CO2 emissions. Experience the difference with Total Energies Excellium new formula. Choose Excellium, choose quality. Fidelity Bank is also bringing us the newspaper review. And the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System PAPS is now live at Fidelity Bank. Imagine sending money to your loved ones or business partners across Africa instantly and in Ghana cedis. Don't wait for days for transactions to clear. No more expensive fees. It's just fast, secure, and affordable payments that you will be enjoying. PAPS is here. Visit any Fidelity Bank branch and start sending money across Africa instantly. Fidelity Bank, believe with us. Right, let me welcome the team. Nana Tofo Boate.
Yes, sir.
And Bernardino.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning, Nathan.
I'm
Ready
good,
for the show?
I'm good. Yeah, fired up.
Yeah. I don't know how you get time to watch certain movies, like Something in the Rings.
Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings.
Were you on some plane or something?
I have only watched it on
sometimes you can watch a lifetime of movies on an air.
Because the flight is so long.
And the movies on the plane are a bit shorter, or they do it some way.
I guess, because you have nothing else to do.
Charlie, you go watch Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings.
The Ten Rings, yeah.
You're on the plane, so you're whiling away time.
Yeah. Charlie, it's not easy. Way up there. Anyway, so Charlie, some very interesting stories this morning.
Yes.
Daily Graphic is not happy. National airline plan hits snag. This is not good. For Siama is photographed here. Also, operationalized Ashanti Regional Hospital, Asantini, to Bernardo Kuboy. And then debt forgiveness will help restructuring efforts. Mahama to South Korean ambassador. And then development is Apostle Nyamiche. Meanwhile, GCB Bank posts impressive financial results. So that's Daily Graphic.
Well, the Finder newspaper says 65% of 15 to 24-year-olds jobless, while unstable low-income jobs dominate. Energy Minister calls for global investment in Ghana. Jakpa's dismissal letter from Ghana Army admitted in court.
Okay.
Ministry calls for calm amid management disputes at Adamus Resources. Alarming rise in alcohol consumption among children spurs mental health crisis.
Everything on that headline is problematic.
Yeah.
Very the Daily Guide has a number of interesting ones. The 2.3 million euro ambulance case. Jakpa admits receiving 700,000 euro. Stories on page 3. Cop shot dead really worrying one on page 6. Good news, government doubles leap cash with Daco and Newman photographed. And then Communication Ministry trains over 39,000 in digital skills. Those are the headlines in the Daily Guide.
For the Chronicle newspaper, it says small businesses are the lifeblood of our economy. This is Alhaji Kobna Tahir Hammond, KT Hammond speaking. Dame comes face to face with Jakba. Ghana Publishing Company establishes branch in Kumasi.
The Herald has an ambulance story, but it's a different kind of ambulance. How Akumsin quoted multiple prices for 307, one constituency, one ambulance, and then there are two prices, 40 million at 133,000 each, and then 54 million at 177 each. So 2 ambulances, 1 God, I should say. Meanwhile, Dami steps into Jacques Venomous ring, gets good on ISO certificate. That's also an ambulance story. And then Yusuf Hussein refers Dubai property matter to lawyers. And then Baumia presents Napo as running mate amid preferences and objections.
Well, the ambulance story is running through all the papers, but different angles. Daily Post says, I was fit when AG asked me to secure fake excuse duty. Jakpa tells court. Ensure free and fair elections. Professor Opuku Ajimine tells Electoral Commission. Mahama thanks South Korea for forgiving Ghana's debt. Matthew Poku Prempeh not the right running mate for Baumia, NPP MP, and the Apia Kubi speaking. It will be a blessing for MPP if the party loses election 2024. This is Kwesi Pratt.
The Republic Press is also leading with Napo, and again they're using the Apia Kubi angle. Napo not my choice. MP drops bombshell. Meanwhile, Odike says MPP would have victimized Chairman Ting if he were corrupt, according to him on page 4. NDC running made dares MPP to provide evidence of free SHS cancellation claims, and then the SNIT hotels features heavily as Apetoni breaks silence. She's the board chair, says SNIT did no wrong. Meanwhile, Blackwa calls for violent demo over SNIT hotels. All of that in the Republic Press.
Let me take you to the Informer. Says elections 2024. Akufo-Addo warns troublemakers. I won't take president's words to bank. This is the General Secretary of the NDC, Fifi Kwete, speaking. Minister calls bluff of cement manufacturers. That's KT Hammond there. And this one says health alert. Stay away from alcohol, cigarettes. Nutritionist advises public.
The Inquisitor is on Napo, and it's an editorial why Napo is unique, and that's in relation to who partners Baumia. Meanwhile, Miracles Aboaji says process to select running mate is not finalized, so keep an eye on that. And then CK Apenuvo makes case for Agoti McKinte. All of those and more in the Inquisitor.
Daily Searchlight also has the ambulance trial angle from there. Says face off, Godfred Dame confronts Jakba in battle of wits. Manufacturers Association calls for suspension of 5% excise duty tax immediately. Or this was GN Bank ex-staff traders join forces to demand license restoration. CPA, that's the Consumer Protection Agency, agrees with Supreme Court ruling on the ban on using celebrities on alcohol advert.
The Daily Analyst is talking about remittance inflows into Africa for 2024. Ghana places second. This is, Ghana is not the second largest African country.
Yes.
So to place second in remittance, it tells you that we have a big resource we have to exploit. $4.6 billion. The whole of Africa, we are number 2. If you look at Africa's population, we are not even in the top 8.
No.
So it tells you that Ghanaians are doing well abroad. We need to really be happy about this and find a way of leveraging it. Meanwhile, still on finance, ADB ND Lord's government on accelerated financial inclusion agenda. Then let's go into politics. NDC cries foul, accuses Ambewu of stalling SAL case, and then Africa Energy Forum invest in Ghana. Opoku Prempeh tells global energy leaders.
I'll end with the Catholic Standard. President Akufo-Addo bids farewell to Nuncio. 14 received Papa Awards in Keta Akachi Diocese. Cardinal Oniayekan decries silence among church leaders. Hold on to your faith, Archbishop Kofi to Catholic traditional rulers.
This is one of the oldest newspapers, the Catholic Standard. I'll end with the BNFT. GCB Bank holds capital raise amid strong financial performance. John Adomaku is photographed with his board chair. MIF unveils 20 million Ghana CD scholarship scheme to boost women's participation in mining. And then Ministry of Finance UG to host inaugural quarterly economic roundtable on Tuesday. And of course, Communication Ministry creates over 15,000 jobs, trains many in digital skills.
If you go online, citinewsroom.com, ambulance case why Richard Jakba was dismissed from armed forces, it's here. In line with that, the story says prosecution presents document to support claims Japa was dismissed from Ghana Armed Forces. Apia Kubi to Baumia reject all campaigning candidates for running mate. And Vincent Asifua says, Opoku Prempe's credentials better than Prof. Opoku Ajiman and Ameu.
Oh, so there are two Opokus.
Yeah,
two
Opoku Ajiman,
Opokus.
Opoku Prempe.
I didn't even think about that. Very interesting.
Accused of deliberately delaying Sal case.
All right.
And you know they are both former education ministers.
It's amazing. Yeah. It's quite interesting, you know. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, if you go to citisportsonline.com, Jonathan Soa, ex-Mediama player, he's terminated his contract with Libyan side Al Nasser Benghazi after just 6 months. So that's the story there. And Osman Bukhari is thankful for his move to Austin FC in the US. And my colleague Yao Minta is writing that we should accept Southgate's 3 Lions as they are and not what they should be. We reject it. We can do better.
More headlines online.
All right, let's go to My Joy Online. MyJoyOnline.com says majority leader wants MPP MPs to stop bad-mouthing each other after Baumia picks Opoku Prempe. And Dr. Etiaheni to BOG, you have 21 days to clarify underreporting of remittances. So that's another angle. So whilst we are getting the remittances, Dr. Etiaheni seems to think or believe that there's some underreporting there. Government increases grants for lead beneficiaries, announces dates for disbursement. If you go international, the debate between Biden and Mr. Trump is everywhere.
Sleepy Joe versus troubled Trump.
Yeah,
Charlie, US is hot.
Biden falters in debate.
My God.
Trump goes on attack.
I tell you.
And then there's another one. Stumbling debate performance worsens age fears for Biden. And there are some videos. Watch key moments from Biden and Trump's first.
There's a song. And
then CNN quickly, CNN.com. They say Biden's poor showing and Trump's repeated falsehoods. And then the subheading, that was very painful.
America.
Democrats lament Biden's performance as Trump dodges on multiple fronts.
Let's have the daily graphic though. National airline plan hits a snag is a big story by McLean Kofi. It says Ghana's efforts to establish a national airline has hit a snag as officials struggle to complete the necessary process to start operation before close of year. Now we know that efforts started since 2017 with registration of a JV. Ghana Airlines acquired an office block, set up a board of directors for the airline and appointed an MD. But graphics painstaking investigations have shown that things are not moving very well. For example, the Ashanti Alliance was incorporated 2017, won the bid ahead of Ethiopian Airlines and Egypt Air that are the major players in the sector. But the chief director of the ministry, Mabel Sego, in response to daily graphics queries pursuant to the RTI, stated that the preparation and launching of the airline was progressing steadily, but admitted that the delay in the launch of the carrier was due to the non-availability of aircraft on the market for startup companies due to the post-COVID boom in aviation industry. So they are not getting planes. The government has set out to partner the private sector for the establishment of a national carrier for the country, but it looks like over almost 8 years, 7 years, it's not happening. So that's a big one. And the minister is photographed on the front page. All right, I'll take you to page 4 of the Finder newspaper. Quite a disturbing headline. Says alarming rise in alcohol consumption among children spares mental health crisis. Story by Daniel Nono. The Mental Health Authority has identified a disturbing trend which indicates that children between the ages of 10 and 14 are increasingly engaging in alcohol consumption, leading to a significant rise in mental health disorders. In its recent report, the Mental Health Authority recorded over 3,500 cases of mental disorders linked to alcohol use among the youth in recent months. Dr. Abigail Harden, a specialist psychiatrist at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, highlighted the gravity of the situation, noting that children as young as 10 are being affected. The youth and children are the most vulnerable groups. For me, I think the judgment that celebrities should not endorse alcohol is great, but we should also enforce the use of ID in buying things. In very serious countries, you can't buy alcohol if you are not 18. Exactly. In this country, we have Ghana card, we put in our pocket, don't use for anything. I think we should start enforcing some of these things so you don't allow young people to get involved. Speaking of which, in the same paper, we are told that 65% of a certain age group don't have work to do. That's on the front page of the Finder.
65% of 15 to 24-year-olds jobless. It says a staggering 65% of young Ghanaians aged 15 to 24 are struggling with unemployment, according to the 2023 Ghana Human Development Report. Despite a decade of strong economic growth, the informal sector remains dominant, accounting for 75% of the workforce. However, the sector often provides unstable and low-income jobs, making it a major contributor to widespread and underemployment. Now, the report released by the United Nations Development Programme in collaboration with the Ghana Statistical Service and the National Development Planning Commission (NDPC) highlights the far-reaching implications of unemployment on Ghana's long-term development goals and human development.
Well, in line with social issues, the government of Ghana, through the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, has announced the increase of cash grants for beneficiary households under the LEAP program. Now, this is on citinewsroom.com. Now, as a result of this increase, the government has released 103,251,772 CDs to pay the 234,000 beneficiary households.
Wonderful. Now, there's a number of stories on the ambulance case. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you the one that's basically just reporting everything that happens. Because, for example, there are many headlines and many angles. All right. So the guy, for example, goes with the Jakpa admitting to receiving 700,000 euros. Right. The Herald talks about Jakpa dummy stepping into Jakpa's venomous ring and getting schooled on ISO certificate. But the graphic on page 28 just basically tells us that government breach contract clause on LCs, and just quoting the cross-examination. So let me just give you those highlights. Justice Agbenossi is reporting that the businessman Richard Jakpa has been accused of causing financial loss to the state in an ambulance case. He denied responsibility for the loss, claimed that the government breached certain clauses of the contract agreement, specifically clause 5.1, by establishing letters of credit directly with Big C, the principal company, instead of his company Jakpa at business. Now, this was an cross-examination by the Attorney General. Jakpa explained that the breach relieved his company of any responsibility for the financial loss. He also revealed that he had commenced a civil suit which resulted in the Commercial Division of the High Court ruling that all the LCs should be established in the name of Jakpa business. So that's a minor detail, but the background is, of course, 2009 President Mills announced plans to purchase new ambulances, and then we know the story. Eventually the deputy minister was the one in charge, different people making different claims. The case continues. Now there's a case that's here that nobody's talking about. Supreme Court dismisses suit challenging constitutionality of the Ghana Amalgamated Trust. You remember, Mahama Yariga took a case to court where he challenged the constitutionality of the setting up of GATT, which was set up by the government to try and capitalize banks. Now, the Supreme Court has dismissed the suit challenging the constitutionality of the Ghana Amalgamated Trust PLC. A 7-member panel of the Apex Court, chaired by the CJ herself, Justice Gertrude Tokonu, held that the GATT is a public corporation validly created under 92 Constitution. The panel added that the government subscription of shares in GATT does not fall within the category of a loan defined in the Constitution.
All right, let's do some politics now. I'll take you to page 3 of the Daily Post, and it says Opoku Prempeh not the right choice to partner with Baumia. This is Andy Apiakubi speaking. A member of the National Council of the governing New Patriotic Party (NPP), Andy Apiakubi, has expressed his disapproval of the running mate candidate submitted by the party's flag bearer, Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Baumia. According to the Member of Parliament for Asante Akim North, the Energy Minister, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, is not the right choice to partner with the party's flag bearer in the upcoming 2024 general elections. His remarks come after Dr. Baumia on Tuesday, June 25, presented Dr. Opoku Prempeh's name as his choice for the running mate's position to President Akufo-Addo. According to Joy News' presidential affairs correspondent Elton Brobe, a meeting took place on Tuesday night at the Jubilee House. During the meeting, Vice President Dr. Baumia presented his choice to the president. And it goes on to say that in light of this, the Asante Akim North MP has come out against the decision by the Vice President.
Meanwhile, Miracles Abuaji says the process is not finalized. So this Director of Communications of the MPP's campaign, he basically says that this is just the beginning and that the name will be taken to the National Executive Council, which is the highest decision-making body of the MPP, apart from the National Congress, before the selection of the running mate is finalized. So he was speaking to just give some timelines on this matter.
We also know that the majority leader is calling for calm amongst caucus members.
Yes, following the interview you just aired. Now, I just wanted to take you into another story operationalize Ashanti Regional Hospital. This was yesterday. You read it in the news, but page 13 of the Daily Graphic has Ashanti is asking
Health Minister.
Yes, Okoboy to hasten the finishing of those hospital projects that have stalled, according to the Otumfo. The story basically says that Ashanti has called for the operationalization of the Ashanti Regional Hospital at Sewia to ease pressure at Komfo-Anokye. Now, this hospital is one of the hospitals we made a lot of noise about 2017, 2018. Still not finished. I don't know why it's taking so long. Now, Kath has been under enormous pressure because this regional hospital, which would have taken pressure off Komfo-Anokye, has still not finished. Dr. Koboy was accompanied by his deputy at leading team, deputy DG of the GHS, Dr. Padukuma Boaji, and other management of staff at the ministry to play a case call on Otumfo, who welcomed him and urged him to fast track the finishing of those projects.
Right. So, I mean, there was a number of hospitals in the Ashanti region. There's the Sewia one, the Afari is there, and then there's the 40-bed Suame also. But Okoboy has assured that by September, the 40-bed Suame hospital will be commissioned. But it's still in the health sector. This story from page 5 of the Finder says health facilities in 3 regions receive medical equipment logistics. It says medical equipment and logistics worth 2.3 million Ghana cedis to ensure improved healthcare delivery for 164,586 individuals have been donated to 54 health facilities located in 9 districts in the northern, Savannah and Upper East regions. It goes on to list the type of equipment and logistics that have been provided.
Now, this story that caught my interest in the Daily Analyst, remittance inflows in Africa for 2024. Ghana places second with 4.6 billion cedis. This is more than FDI. World Bank report indicates this is serious. Now, Ghana has placed second in remittance inflows to Africa in 2023. The World Bank has revealed in its 2024 Migration Development Report. Now, we received $4.6 billion in remittance receipts in 2023. You can guess number 1.
Nigeria.
Of course, Nigeria came first with 19.5 billion.
Oh.
But if you look at per capita, I think Ghana has more. All right, if you look at Nigeria's population of almost 200 million. Now, remittance to Nigeria accounted for 33% of total remittance inflows into the region, but the whole thing decreased by 2.9%. Kenya, Zimbabwe, and Senegal came 3rd, 4th, and 5th with inflows of 4.2, 3.1, and 2.9. Now, mind you, Kenya has over 40-something million people, and their remittance inflows is 4.2 billion. We have about 33 million.
Yeah.
Of course, I think more Ghanaians travel per capita than Kenyans.
Yeah.
I think Ghanaians and Nigerians travel more. According to the World Bank remittance flow into Sub-Saharan Africa, it was nearly 5 times the size of FDI inflows in the same year. So it means that our relatives and friends abroad have a bigger role to play in our development than even foreign companies.
Exactly.
If we can find a way of bringing those monies together, it can unlock development. Really good story.
Just a quick plug in there. Banking consultant, this is not my joinline.com. Banking consultant Dr. Richmond Etiahene has given the Bank of Ghana 21 days to clarify the significant gap between its data on remittance inflows to Ghana and the figures tracked by the World
Very
Bank.
important point. Very important point, because he has been making a case around what he considers to be some misfeasance by some of the fintechs. The BOG denies this.
Okay.
All right. Now, final one, GBC Bank, even though the finance performance was great, GCB Bank, they will not raise new capital this year. GCB Bank, a leading financial institution in Ghana, has announced the suspension of its planned capital raising initiative. The decision, announced at the 30th AGM, comes on the heels of the bank's strong financial performance for the year 2023.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Nana. Thank you, Bernard. That was the newspaper review. There's still the Citi Breakfast Show. Coming up next is the Citi Business News.
Oh, jump on now. Go, go. Google me. At what time will you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car? No, I not change my car. It be the same, right? It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so. This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir. Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind, Seth, be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium, they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them. Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel? Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you. Hey, they make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside? I give you info. Make a fill the gobe too small. Go. Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
When you wake up in the morning and you know the money calling, oh, you go work, but you know it's out in your side. If I believe with us, if I hold my hand and believe, cause you know it's out in your side. And when you dream, no say I live for you. And when you hustle every day, when you wanna go, everything you do, I live for you. If I believe I live your side, fidelity. If I believe with us, fidelity. If I know I live your side, fidelity.
The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
7 on the dot. Coming up next is the Citi Business News. Brought to us by Access Bank. Now, Access Bank has brought banking closer to you with our agency banking service called Access Closer. Yes, we've brought banking right to your neighborhood. You can do all the things you want to do: pay bills, withdraw, deposit cash, buy insurance, transfer cash to other banks, do all the amazing things. What are you waiting for? Call 0302742696 to register as an agent today. You can also visit ghana.accessbankplc.com to find out more. Access Bank, more than banking. Now, if you need to make an urgent call but you just realize you don't have airtime, don't panic. Just dial *506# on MTN and borrow credit on MTN Extra Time. The conversations don't need to end because you don't have airtime. Borrow extra time now and enjoy the things you love on your favorite network, MTN. The Citi Business News also brought to us by Goil. Goil Good Energy. Goil has hit the road with exciting choices to energize your vehicle. Watch this space for your choice. Well, let's get into the Citi Business News. Nashika Caesar is here with the latest.
Hello and welcome to the breakfast edition of the Citi Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, Goil and Access Bank. My name is Nashika Caesar. Coming up, International Monetary Fund IMF meets today for a review of Ghana's bailout program. Also coming up, Bank of Ghana challenged to account for discrepancy between its data on remittance inflows and figures reported by the World Bank. And later, ratings agency Fitch Solutions assert that banks in Ghana are highly profitable, which helps them manage risk from currency fluctuations effectively. The details of our stories now. The board of the International Monetary Fund IMF will later today meet to hold meetings to review Ghana's bailout program. This will potentially lead to the approval of $360 million for the country. Ghana has so far received $1.2 billion in funding of the $3 billion bailout package so far for various budgetary support activities. Here is more.
Citi Business News' sources state that the board will review the IMF staff's assessment of Ghana's program, evaluating the country's success in meeting its qualitative and quantitative targets. A critical focus will be on government's recent debt restructuring agreement with Eurobond holders. For market observers, this meeting is expected to be swift, as the restructuring aligns with the IMF program. However, the government is anticipated to initiate a consent solicitation process to secure approval from individual bondholders. Additionally, having reached an agreement in principle with official creditors, the board will require the government to publish public debt information every 6 months. This measure aims to assure bondholders of transparency and ensure equitable treatment among creditors. The approval of the second program is poised to inject much-needed foreign exchange support into the economy and bolster investor confidence.
That was a business desk report. Now, ratings agency Fitch Solutions is asserting that banks in Ghana are highly profitable, which helps them manage risk from currency fluctuations effectively. In 2023, the sector's pre-impairment operating profit was 7.1% of average total assets, showing strong financial health. This profitability means banks can absorb losses from impaired assets without significant impact on their stability.
According to Fitch, the banking sector's challenges stemmed from deteriorating loan quality and ongoing restructuring of sovereign external debt. Despite this, efforts to strengthen capitalization followed significant losses from Ghana's domestic debt exchange program. The Ghanaian cedi has depreciated by 18% against the US dollar in 2024, as reported by the Bank of Ghana. This depreciation was fueled by increased import demand and a sharp decline in cocoa exports, compounded by delays in external debt restructuring. However, Fitch Ratings recently highlighted a notable recovery driven by strong profitability from high treasury bill yields. The sector's adequacy ratio, adjusted for relief measures, increased to 15.5% from 14.7% in April 2023, indicating improved financial health.
That was a news desk report. Now, the Bank of Ghana is being challenged to provide detailed explanation on the discrepancy between its data on remittance inflows and the figures reported by the World Bank. While the World Bank reported about $20.7 billion in remittances flowing into Ghana from 2018 to 2022, the Auditor General's report on the Bank of Ghana's consolidated statement of foreign exchange receipts and payment for the same period accounted for only $9.5 billion, revealing a gap of about $11.2 billion. In an interview with Citi Business News, banking consultant Dr. Richmond Ituahine noted that if all remittances were tracked and traded accurately, such discrepancies would not occur.
The World Bank is talking about reporting 4.6 when Bank of Ghana is reporting about 2.1 billion. And I believe that I think it's sending a warning and signal to all the countries around us. Remittances are key to the foreign exchange reserve build-up. If you track and trace and capture all remittances, you wouldn't have problems, because it's not like cocoa, it's not like gold. I mean, no resources move out. The human resources have gone, but the money comes back. Asking them that under the RTI, they should come clear about the data that have been, I started the data 2019 up to 2023. And the discrepancy is close to about 12 billion. They should tell us how these remittances were captured or were not captured.
Dr. Richmond Ituahine is a banking consultant. Now, on the forex markets today, the dollar is selling at 15 cedis 80 pesos. The British pound could be sold to you at 19 cedis 80 pesos. The euro is going for 16 cedis 85 pesos. And that's it for the breakfast edition of the Citi Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, Goyle and Access Bank. My name is Nashika Siza. Do have a great business day.
Beautiful people, we are live in town, soaking in the excitement about the partnership between Access Bank and PABS, revolutionizing the way people move money across Africa. Let's hear directly from those reaping the benefits.
It's a relief. Anytime I send money back home, my family receives exactly what I send them, instantly.
I'm studying in Ghana, but originally from Nigeria. With this service, my parents send my school and hostel fees directly, and they do it with so much ease.
I run a fashion business. Let me tell you, sending and receiving money across Africa without those annoying forex fees has really cut down our operational costs.
Benefit from instant payments across Africa with zero foreign exchange hassle. Visit our website www.ghana.accessbankplc.com or call our toll free on 0800 004400 for all your cross-border payments.
Pass it with Access Bank.
Access Bank, more than banking.
Good energy hits the road with exciting choices to energize your ride, giving you more options to take you further. Watch this space for your choice.
Goyle, yeah.
Hey, so as for you, every day you are just pressing your phone. Why? Are they paying you?
They are, Oma.
Eh?
The more I use my MTN, the more points I get. And I can use those points to get airtime, data, and even discounts at shops and restaurants.
Hey, so that is why all of you are always pressing your phones. And you won't tell us, so that we too we can enjoy some.
Oh, my.
There's always more to enjoy with MTN Rewards. Just keep talking, testing, and browsing all day, every day to collect your points and use it to redeem amazing offers and discounted freebies right away. There's so much available for you. So dial *550# and get your reward today. Let's go everywhere you go.
Kweku, have you heard what they are doing on MTN?
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Sit in silence, sipping my liquor, making no link up. I'm picking no calls. This generation, we know they get that. My mind is focused, we know they hear what we show up. But the money there, that be where we
11 after 7, still listening to the Citi Breakfast Show. We'll be giving you this week's edition, or this week's serving of the Citi Business Edition in a bit. But a few announcements. Now, there's exciting news we have to share with you. Why do we put you first? Because you're the reason we do all we do, the heart of our operations, our most cherished partner. This is because FBN Bank is now First Bank Ghana. Stay tuned and discover the new and exciting ways we are putting you first. First Bank Ghana is part of the first group that is 130 years strong. First Bank Ghana, you first. Now Telecel is here and you're about to have the world at your fingertips because the wait is finally over. Now you have everything you want and need: quick and reliable communication, stress-free money transactions via Telecel Cash, transforming your big business ideas into success stories with Telecel Business and more. Connect with Telecel and enjoy a world of endless possibilities because with Telecel there is no limit to connection. Telecel, connecting energies. Now, from planning date nights to making your kids happy with the latest toys and ice cream, these seemingly little things make all the difference in creating lasting memories. Good times start at Shell, where you can fill up on more than just fuel. You can fill up on love, laughter, and sumptuous bites and treats from our partner vendors. It's everything under one roof, so you can visit Shell today. But let's get into the Citi Business Edition for the morning. We are giving you a wrap for the final week of the Citi Business Festival's on-air series. This week we spent a lot of time talking about SMEs. So if you missed out on some of the editions or some of the on-air broadcasts earlier this week, here is a summary of the major points that you can take away and use them to boost your SME. Let's get into the Citi Business Edition. Enjoy.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest
Esni Latte coming your way again with another episode of the show. This week was our final week of the Citi Business Festival, and it happened to be a week
We discussed micro, small and medium enterprises, that's MSMEs, how they can scale up, get the right skill set and also financing to drive their growth and resilience. And just in case you missed out on any of our episodes, here are some major takeaways from our resource persons. Of talking about strategic sales management for SMEs with Dr. Andrew Aiku, business coach and a lecturer of entrepreneurship and innovation at the University of Professional Studies, that's UPSC. Let's get some insights on the critical areas your business should focus on for strategic positioning.
So in the past, traditional ways have been used by SMEs and businesses to develop their sales strategies. But currently, when we talk about strategic sales management, we are referring to the aspect of how do you plan the sales itself? What resources do you need to plan the sales? And how do you implement the sales? So the strategic side of sales talks about the actionable points you need to put together. For instance, I want to run a sales promo. Where are the clients? Which channel should I use? Which channel should I adopt? And what is the length of the implementation? So that is what comes into the strategic sales management approach.
You've used two words, clients and channels, but I suspect there are specific components of any strategic sales management process. Can you highlight some of them?
So when you look at the strategic sales management, there are 4 C's I want to consider first: the cost, the customer, the convenience, and the communication. Okay. Anytime you are thinking about strategically selling anything, think about the customer. What are the customer needs? What does the customer want? Bernard, whether you like it or not, in this difficult economy where everybody is talking about things are going how, the customer has taste and preferences. People are still spending. Why? Because they spend where they think they have value. So think about the customer. Secondly, think about the cost. What is the cost involved in delivering the services to the customer? The customer thinks about price when he thinks about cost. So strategically, how do I think about the various pricing channels? Am I using psychological pricing or scheming pricing to sell? The next one is convenience. Things are difficult and people want to enjoy the convenience of buying from you. So don't make it difficult. Are you accessible? That is the convenience. And then finally, how are you communicating to them? The guy's salary is coming this week, and he's going to spend. But you need to communicate, create awareness, engage them. Not when the customer has sent a WhatsApp to your page and it takes you 2 hours to respond. So now, if you want to strategically position to sell, think about the customer, think about the costs, think about the channels, and think about communications. Wonderful. And that goes into what the whole thing about strategically positioning your sales strategy as a business.
When we say something is strategic, does it suggest that it's no longer at the level of operation, but that it's at the top of the organization? So sales then is not just a function of how intelligent the sales force is, but basically it is part of the overall company strategy.
Exactly. So a company may take a decision on how to sell next month, maybe for the rest of the month to the end of the year. How do you strategically position yourself? So for instance, there is market segmentation, market targeting, market positioning. But if you want to position yourself in the market, you have to be strategic.
Okay.
So if I'm selling wigs, Ultra 33, Color 1, Color 2, or I'm selling yogurt, I'm selling Greek yogurt, or I'm selling granola, the question is, which segment of the market are you selling to? So the company may take a decision, let's sell to the market, everybody will buy, but realize that there's a target market that have the purchasing power. So you're not selling to everybody. For instance, when you are streaming something online, the person needs data. So it's not for everybody who has access to internet, it's the person willing to spend. But how do you strategically position yourself? What is your positioning strategy? So the strategy moves away a little. It's still with operations, but at the top level, it's a strategic decision to sell. You are not doing an advert just for the sake of doing the advert. You are doing to draw customers' attention and to enable them to buy and be satisfied with the product that you are selling.
Beyond the 4 C's, you mentioned in an earlier conversation the key components of strategic sales management for SMEs.
Yeah.
And I think there are 7, if you can highlight some of them.
So some of them include adaptation and innovation. Currently, if you don't adapt and you don't innovate, you are not strategically positioned. Okay. The Ghanaian customer, he has money, but he knows where to spend. Secondly, market research. Their taste and preferences are changing every day. They are saying so many things. So if you don't do market research, don't pay anybody. Yourself, talk to them and have a feedback mechanism. I've said this before. In Ghana, when you buy stuff, they'll ask you, you like my product and it's the best. No. Ask them, how do I improve on my service? The next thing you need to do is to look at your financial budget when you are strategically positioning yourself. How much do you spend? Thinking about cost driver, what is costing you to even develop the product? These are some of the key components that when we think about strategically and adopt with the innovations and what is happening now, you realize that you'll be able to position your business, and whilst everybody is complaining, you are increasing your sales.
Let's talk about the benefits of strategic sales management for SMEs. What are some of the advantages, or what does it do for them?
If you're able to strategically position your message for SME in terms of your sales, your customers will be satisfied. Your customer experience itself will change. And your customers will be willing to spend on you because you will be able to target them. For instance, what time do you do your advert? So you know about WhatsApp. People have group WhatsApp where we post. When do you post? What is your social media calendar? Are you posting when your customer is ready to listen and read your notice? So when people say, well, I've posted, nobody is responding. Nobody responds because they are not there. It's very beneficial that every step of the way of your sales is very strategic. Think about it. Position yourself. Everything is about strategy. If you don't strategize, then you'll be doing advert. Then people tell me, I've spent so much on Instagram, there's no response. Who do you think you are talking to? Are you aware their attention is somewhere else, not on what you are selling? So you need to be strategically right when you are taking a decision. And it's very beneficial to organizations when they are able to do this.
So you improve your sales performance, obviously. You get competitive advantage.
Exactly.
And then you're able to also scale.
Yes.
Talk about importance of scaling.
Importance of scaling when it comes to strategic marketing or strategic sales is having access to new markets. So I'm selling food to customers at UPS. What are the other options available? What about UG? How do I scale to UG? If I'm able to satisfy, I'm able to get referrals to be able to grow. So everything is about strategies. So if I want a new market, I want to enter into a new market to sell, you don't just get up and say, oh okay, Chado area is developing. Let me go and set up a branch. Who will buy? Who told you they're interested? But strategically identify them. So who is watching your post? Who is clicking on your stuff? How many times are they spending? When you spend time to strategically understand who is watching your post, what comment is the person buying, and what other comments are the person searching, it will help you to position your organization to be able to sell as well.
Let's talk about some challenges that SMEs will face in trying to embark on this journey of strategic sales. I'm sure resource will be a main one.
Key resources. Human resource, financial resource is one. Secondly, competition. So much competition in the market. There's a program by Exim Guarantee, and some of my students went to, it's a fair, they went to, and they were telling that when we went there, they said all those into fashion. They were more than 200.
Wow.
And I said, what makes you stand out is your differentiation strategy. So most SMEs say, well, we are cutting, this is what we are showing, but who is buying? What are the latest trends? What are people saying? Resources, adaptation, technology, and financial. You have the resources to pay. Have you seen people's budget for online sales? It's crazy. So you need to be very deliberate about who you want to sell to.
Was for HR management for SMEs with Dr. Francis Eduku. He is CEO of the Chartered Institute of HR Management. Dr. Eduku encouraged businesses, no matter the size, to have a well-structured HR management process to enhance development and profitability.
Human resource management is very critical because every organization, you talk about people. It's the people who transform the organization processes, create value, and the products that is eventually turn out into money. It's not the machines, because if the people don't operate or drive the machines alone cannot create value. So that makes human resource management very, very important. But with a link to SMEs, as people are the backbone to every organization, SMEs are also the backbone to any economy through job creation and economic growth. But when you pick the human resource dimension, which now drives the value for the business, if SMEs have proper HR processes, right from recruitment, selection, performance management, reward, and motivation, then they will create more value for their organizations. But more often than not, you see most SMEs operating at the informal level where they don't have structured HR processes. For some, people are even recruited before they prepare job descriptions. And the job descriptions, which is supposed to drive the recruitment process, is the reverse. And a typical HR or well-coordinated HR practice must have a link to the mission and vision of the organization. Because after all, you need people to do something, and that something is the mission and the vision of the organization. So people are very critical for the success of SME, and for that matter, when you talk about people, then you want to talk about the human resource management that focuses on getting the right people at the right place at the right time.
How different is HR management for SMEs compared to larger organizations? I ask this because, as you said, the processes are quite elaborate. Recruitment, selection, human performance management, retention, they seem very elaborate. Small companies typically are in a hurry. They are doing gigs and they have very small teams. So describe why you think that even for small companies, the HR management must be well structured, because a lot of company owners will say, Charlie, I don't have time. And my people are not even many. So what's your problem?
Yeah, but that is interesting. That is the informality that I spoke about, because, basically most SMEs operate at the informal level where they will not put systems and people systems or HR systems and structures in place. So people come in and they don't even know their status, whether they are contractors, whether they are regular, whether they are on fixed term. They don't know. Records keeping are very poor. So in that way, you can't get people motivated. You can't get people retained because, one, they don't know where they are going with the organization. But if you put proper structures in place where the HR processes and strategies is linked with the strategy of the business, i.e. the SMEs that we are talking about here, then your recruitment process will be linked to your strategy. Because the SMEs, I always say this, the HR principles are the same, whether big or large organizations. What varies is the practice. How they practice it is what varies. Whereas large organizations follow structured and sophisticated HR processes, SMEs want to go the informal way and unstructured process. But the point that you must know that to get value from people is to recruit, develop, retain, and reward them as well. So if you don't have structures in place, it will be very difficult. Unlike a big organization, their processes are sophisticated because you cannot do recruitment without job descriptions. the job description must also have a line of sight to the big strategy of the organization. So, whereas the principles for HR cuts across, whether big or small, the practices are different. Because SMEs have constraints of resources issues, because they will tell you we don't have the financial wherewithal to be able to practice what other large organizations are doing. Now we are using AI, artificial intelligence, to do recruitment, so that at a certain point it takes off the human biases that ordinarily people bring on board when they are recruiting people. But are SMEs ready to use sophisticated technology to inform their recruitment process? Most performance management processes have also been digitized. Okay, are SMEs ready to digitize their performance management process? So for me, the practice will vary.
But the principle will be the same.
Principle will be the same. But we need to focus on which practice will give us the value. Do we want structured or unstructured? Do we always want to allow the influence of the manager owner on the business, or to set a board that will be independent so that they can observe proper governance structures? So I think these are some of the things that we need to look at. To me, SMEs can practice HR well if they look at what the larger companies are doing. I'm not saying all large organizations are perfect or they are doing the best. No, in some organizations too, much as they have their vision there and mission there, when they are developing their people processes, some large organizations also don't follow. They do what I call templatism, where they borrow templates from other organizations. When people hear, oh, this organization is doing so well, then so give me your HR template. But the question you need to ask yourself is that organization mission and vision similar to yours? Mm-hmm. So for me, everything we need to anchor it on the mission, vision, and the strategy of the organization. And SMEs must have mission, vision, and strategy.
Partner at Confidant. On Wednesday, we were lucky to have him touching on the export readiness of SMEs, essentially some tidbits on how businesses can be competitive and also make their way onto the international market.
There are SMEs that are very export market focused, and there are a good number of them in Ghana. However, I think the export readiness is a spectrum.
Okay.
So most firms before they start exporting would have been serving the local market already.
Okay.
So for me, the journey to export readiness begins with serving your local market. And that's a very important point. If you cannot effectively serve the local market, it will be extremely difficult for you to serve a foreign market, because the local market is supposed to be relatively easier, right? So that's the first point. A lot of companies start by focusing on local market, and then they start diversifying. They find an opportunity to export, or they intentionally target a particular export market and they start exporting. Those firms then become companies that focus on both the local market and the export market. They do both. That's the second category. The third category will be companies that almost exclusively focus on exports, and there are a couple of those. They may do a few local clients, but for the most part, they produce almost exclusively for the foreign market. So you have the spectrum of three main categories. Those are just exclusively local market focused companies, and the majority of SMEs are locally focused. And then you have those that do both local and export markets. You have another small band that will do exclusively export markets.
But last year you also spoke about the underground informal export economy. Can you elaborate a bit on that?
So we did a study at Confidence that looked at a very interesting trend in how small businesses that are otherwise locally focused are beginning to do micro exports, informal exports, but micro exports. And after we studied, the ecosystem, we came to the conclusion that this was largely an underground, quote unquote, export sector, because these are not firms that are exporting through formal trade channels per se. Somebody is on social media selling a product, and they get an order, from somebody outside the country. They find a way to ship the product without necessarily having to go through formal, trade, compliance processes. Sometimes it's as simple as a relative or a friend traveling abroad, and they've sort of managed to have them, ship the products on their behalf, and then they pay for it. Some of it is just using. DHL has come up with this package, for small businesses to be able to ship products. Some of the small exporters are using that. The products are usually very small volumes. Mm-hmm. And because of that, they are not necessarily having to go through the whole export certification process, to go through standard, use freight forwarders and go through huge, container shipments. That's not the kind of trade. There have a lot of small micro exporters. And, when in a lot of the research we did, many of them don't actually consider themselves as exporters. Their essential focus is the local market. But they also happen to do some export. And if you ask them, have you exported or have you shipped anything outside the country before? They'll say, yes, we do it. Every now and then we get orders. But it tends to be on an ad hoc basis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a checklist for export readiness. By that I mean, are there any 6 or 7 or 8 or 9, whatever, specific ways in which you measure whether a company, and for that matter an SME, is ready for the export market?
Yes, there are. There's a checklist which can be used to evaluate an SME's export readiness. We did, and I'll come to that. We did a survey together with Citi FM last year that did an export readiness assessment for a group of companies that exhibited at the Citi.
This is Ghana.
This is Ghana exhibition.
Yeah.
But yes, there's such a checklist. And I'm just going to go through it. The first one, I think, is what I'll call product readiness.
Okay.
At the end of the day, it's a product you want to sell. It's a product you want to export. So the question is whether your product is ready for export. There are many dimensions to that. And we will go through some of them. But basically, you need to have a product that is a quality product, has been certified. The product must be doing very well in the local market already, right? To give you a proof of concept in a sense that this is a product that has, met and satisfied, demand at least in the local market. So you need a product. You can't be export ready when you don't have a product. So that's the first thing. But the second thing that's very important is that you need what we call market information. Market information about the export market that you want to export to. You cannot be export ready when you don't know the different possible export destination markets that could have demand for your product or that have demand for your product. And market information is key. I'll give you a classic example. If you're targeting, first of all, you need to know which markets have demand for your product. It's important. And you need to know which markets have demand for your kind, because there are different categorizations. You may be selling a particular product, but there may be different kinds of that product. You need to know whether that particular market has a preference for your product. Then you need to know the competition in that market. You need to know the pricing in that market. You need to know the consumer behavior in that market. You need to know the distribution channels in that market. You need to understand what the export and import trade regulations for that market are, and for the particular product that you produce. Each country has its laws for which products can enter their market. And you cannot be export ready for a particular market when you don't have enough information on all of those. So if you have to ship products to a particular market, you need to know what the trade regulations are, what the import regulations are, what the tariffs are, tariffs and import duties are, and what you need to do to comply with the tariff and non-tariff regulations of that particular market. So market information is very important, and it cuts across all these areas I've spoken about. This is probably the single most important requirement, because when you have enough market information about the target market, then you know how to strategize. You know how to tailor your product. You know how to tailor your systems to be able to meet the demand in that market. So market information is key. I will talk a little about a survey and what it it revealed about SMEs' knowledge of the markets that they wish to export to. It was quite revealing. So market information is very important.
So maybe later during the interview, I'll come to the findings.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you could,
we could just go through that.
So product readiness, market information, demand preferences,
yes,
competitiveness.
Once you have market information about the various markets that you're targeting, you then need to do your own competitiveness assessment, because the market information includes information about what the competition is in the particular market and what the pricing is in that particular market, and the consumer behavior and preferences. You benchmark all of that to your own current, competitiveness, your own pricing, your own brand, your own packaging. You look at all of those things to assess your own competitiveness. So the competitiveness is key. It's all part of the benchmarking thing. And then there's export certification readiness. Export certification readiness.
Okay.
You need to, and all of this comes out of the market information, because once you've determined what the regulations are to enter that market, you would know that you need certain kinds of certifications depending on which industry in which you are, and every industry has its own unique certifications. So it's key. Usually, you would have had some domestic market certifications already, either with your standards authority or with the FDA. You would have certifications for your product. So that's product certifications. But there's also export certification, which you would usually get from, depending on the market you want to enter. You might have to get it. Usually, in the case of Ghana, a lot of that you work through the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, which is responsible for issuing export certificates. If there are rules of origin that you need to meet in order to enter a particular market, you need to make sure that you have those certifications. And so that's key. Then there is production and supply capacity. If you receive a huge order, the question is, do you have the capacity to meet the order? That's a very important one. This is a challenge that, Bernard, even in the Made in Ghana surveys that we do, it keeps coming up. So a lot of the supermarkets that we survey complain that local producers often don't have the capacity to meet to scale up
when there's increase in demand.
And they don't want to keep having that challenge when customers keep coming and say, but where is this product? So it's a key challenge. Of course, it's related to productive capacity and working capital and a lot of issues. It's a complex issue, but this is a very important metric in export readiness.
Strategies to grow SME sustainably. That was it for Thursday. It was with Audrey Abakan, Director SME Agency Banking and Partnerships at Absa Bank Ghana. For her, it all begins with partnering the right financial institution.
I personally, like growth, and I appreciate people who have a growth mind, especially business owners, and consistently you see them putting in place the structures, the processes, and the models to grow. Gupta et al. 2013, argues that when businesses grow, they actually stimulate the economic vibrancy and then development. And it's important that SMEs care about their own growth for many reasons, and I'm going to highlight, some of these reasons. Number one, every business wants to see revenue and profits grow, and that only comes when your business grows or scales. Because when your business grows, it actually tells on your sales performance. Your sales grows, your revenue grows, and if the business efficiently manages cost, then your profit grows. When your profit grows, a business that wants to see consistent growth and even scale in the process will now reinvest the money back into the business. And obviously, the individual entrepreneur benefits. You increase your personal savings, you increase your investment, and you prosper in the process. So growth is very good. And then also, growth enables businesses to expand into new markets. And I have worked with quite a number of SMEs that I saw them operating at one location, and today they're operating in various locations within the country. There are others that have been bold enough and dared to even go across the borders of Ghana. It all happened because the business grew. And then also, when a business grows, the business then has the capacity or financial wherewithal to invest in technology, invest in machinery, or invest in platforms that enables the business to operate efficiently. The more efficient you are, the more likely you would be able to operate at a reduced cost, which would increase your profitability. And then when the business grows, you are able to leverage that growth to attain market leadership. Zoom Lion started small, but today Zoom Lion is big, has grown significantly, and has scaled its business operational activities. Today, it's a market leader in the waste management sector, and it has been able to establish a strong brand in that industry. So it becomes so difficult to even contend with a business of that size, but it all happened because the business grew. And then let me say this. When your business grows, the banks will chase you. They will come after you.
You will go after them.
Yes, I always get this comments coming from businesses that, as for you, when we are small, you don't want to support us. You want us to grow before. But you see, I always tell people that the banks are custodians of people's deposits. Okay, they must take good care of the funds in their custody. And therefore, will be more comfortable to lend to a business or a growing business that has the right structures, the right systems, the right processes, and also is able to provide the right information, because the banks thrive on information a lot to do their analysis to determine how much funding they can invest into your business. Right. So we are happy when your business is growing and that growth is leading to proper formalization of business operation. This is why we would come chasing after you, because the risk level then reduces, okay, from lending to a growing business than a business that is not formal, not structured, very risky, you understand? Yeah. And therefore, you would have to put certain framework to support that level of lending. And the good thing about, growth also, especially to the business owner himself or herself, is that when your business grows and you are able to bring in people to support you, delegate certain aspects of the work to these people, then you free yourself time to be able to develop yourself, because you must actually grow your brain, grow your mind to be able to, take advantage of the new things that are happening within your industry and then your sector. And then finally, let me talk about personal fulfillment and, satisfaction. When you start a business and the business grows, definitely, that self-actualization, that feeling, that you have succeeded to build something that is helping humanity, helping create jobs, and supporting people's livelihood.
So, you have been talking about the benefit a company can derive if that company grows. But there's this thin line between growth and expansion. I don't know if you are able to explain that to me, because a lot of companies will see themselves, quote unquote, growing by opening new branches, but you go into their books, the books are bad, poor managerial skills, and what have you. Is it that when businesses grow, they necessarily expand, or they are used interchangeably? If you can educate us on that.
Growth is in different shapes and forms. You can grow in size, and size, I'm talking about your business operational size. You can grow in that. You can grow by expanding your business into different markets, either locally or internationally. It's also a form of growth. And then you can also grow, in your products. You can grow by diversifying, developing new product and product line and expanding your product line. So you diversify, do different things. It's all a measure of growth. And that growth should tell on your revenue, it should tell on your profitability. But when it comes to expansion, then you are talking about scaling, becoming larger than it's like growing exponentially, if you should use that word, growing exponentially or growing in leaps and bounds. It means that you are thinking about huge leaps.
Right.
You understand. But usually growth is steady, consistent. You grow from one level to the other. But expansion now takes you from one lower level to a more higher level, which require more resources, more capital, and more innovation to get to that level.
I think it's quite clear. So on top of your head, if I say, give me, let's say 4 tips, 5 tips that businesses must take cognizance of when they want to grow, what would these tips be? Tidbits.
Okay. So the first one I would talk about is partnering with the right financial institution.
I can see the smile on your face when you talk about
you see,
right institution. Which is the right institution?
And I'm talking about finance or money first, because money is king. Every business needs money to fuel its startup, its growth, its maturity stage. You understand? And it is said that finance is the lifeblood of every business. Without it, the heart or the brain of a business cannot function. When you talk about the heart of an organization, every practice, every policy that touches on the emotions and the feelings, so your mission, your vision, your value, your purpose, all of these things are the heart of the business. And then the brain, your strategy executions, your technology, your processes, and all of these are the brain. Without money, the business cannot function effectively. Finance enables business operations. It enables their growth and sustainability. And if you don't have a strong financial health, your business will struggle to grow. So it is essential that every business considers its financial strength seriously. And one way to do that is to partner with a strong financial institution.
And that was all what time allowed us for. The month of June ended so quickly, bringing us to the end of the 2024 edition of the Citi Business Festival. From the digital economy to agriculture to the creative industry and to SMEs, Citi 97.3 FM and Channel 1 TV are so much grateful that you stayed with us throughout this month. I'm sure the programming has been so invaluable in turning the prospects of your business around. Until then, we are hoping to see you again for the Citi Business Festival 2025, as well as we help you take your business to the next level. But this has been the Citi Business Edition on 97.3 Citi FM with me, Ni Lati Lati.
The city's biggest conversation.
Hey, Walambo!
Hey, Walambo!
Hey, I asked him to buy me original Polita.
Hey, please don't make mistake. Talk to Papa. Open the come out. And you Polita no gala. Hey, Papa.
Papa, can Ropo?
The Polita is original. The first and the best.
What is? Who got also for dear acrobat to use me?
Polita, yes.
Hey, today. I can't wait to watch my favorite sport on my newest NASCO television. Charlie, the view be clear, Papa. HD quality you can trust.
Ever since Kwame became a star with NASCO, if not football, then it's chilling with his friends with some ice chilled drink from NASCO's refrigerator because it chills so well.
No wonder his friends can't resist but come to watch their games here. I think they like the cool breeze with NASCO air condition.
NASCO's washing machine and gas cooker makes home lovely.
Go! It's always fun with NASCO home appliances. Enjoying the football you love and all other NASCO products like the durable NASCO Ion, NASCO Microwave, and NASCO Blender. Visit all our EGL showrooms nationwide and grab yours now. Offer online. NASCO delivery is fast and swift. Just a call away. Make the football viewing experience memorable with NASCO home appliances. NASCO, bring home happiness.
Say donut. Everybody follow not sa malaria. A 3D till not now. Malaria chill. Popo. What really do? I want the donut. A dabako. Donut. A damienu. Donut. A damiensa. Donut. No. Donut scatter malaria. Lonat ide scatter malaria.
A quality product from Blaze GVS Pharma. Yenhwehwemu hu se malaria wo womogem ansa na wanum Lonat. Na nam yense na malaria no daso wo ho a ko hu doctor.
This advert is FDA approved.
The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
Welcome to Friday's edition of Kickoff right here on 97.3 Citi FM. We are proudly powered by Shell, Lesheho, and Zonda. I am Bernard Bakery. Let's start today's update with some women's football. And the head coach of the Black Princesses, Yusuf Basigi, has called 35 players to commence training in Cape Coast. The team is gearing up for the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup in Colombia. This marks the Black Princesses' 7th consecutive appearance in the biannual tournament. Ghana will kick off their campaign in Group E with a match against Austria, followed by games against New Zealand and Japan. The Under-20 FIFA Women's World Cup will kickstart from August 31 to September 22, 2024. To this unpleasant news, and sports journalist Jerome Autry has expressed that the current condition of the Azuma Nelson Sports Complex reflects a lack of respect for the esteemed boxer Azuma Nelson. He attributed this to years of neglect that have deteriorated the facility and criticized the authority responsible for its maintenance. In an interview with Citi Sports, Autry emphasized that the facility's present state does not honor the legacy of the legendary boxer.
The Azuma Nelson Sports Complex at Kaneshi, and the first impression that comes to mind is that we are disrespecting the figure and personality of the great boxing athlete Azuma Nelson, who is a Hall of Famer in the US. Unfortunately, we don't seem to give him that kind of recognition because of the name attached to that deteriorating complex we have named after him. And I know it's got to do more with financing. I don't think the money is there for whatever work the system planned to do at the previously Kaneshi Sports Complex. The money is not there. The kind of work that they started was left at some point, and everything they did is now in ruins. And that is not the kind of experience you want to have if you are talking about sports development.
Here from sports journalist Jeremy Autry. Let's get to Europe now, and Phil Foden will return to the England camp ahead of Sunday's Euro 2024 last 16 meeting with Slovakia after the birth of his third child. The FA revealed on Wednesday that Foden had returned to the UK due to a pressing family matter. Meanwhile, England defender McGay has been speaking about the mood in camp ahead of the Slovakia tie.
I think what builds confidence is togetherness, performances, the fact that we haven't lost the game yet, which is really important. I think all the other things you can't really control. I think it's important that we just control what we can control, and that's remaining calm, focused, and dealing with whatever obstacles in front of us.
And the manager has spent his entire England career really trying to build a togetherness and an atmosphere around the England camp, which is great for you guys to go out and do your best. Is that still there? Do you still sense that? Is there still a positivity in the camp that, because it's your first experience, of course, of a major tournament?
Yeah, I think you can see it every single day in the togetherness we show when we're, playing darts or playing paddle or whatever activity it is, and it shows out on the pitch, going through tough moments on the pitch. It all shows. I think credit, like you say, to the manager, credit to the senior players that have been there for so long that allow players like me that haven't had that experience at this level to come in and just feel like themselves. Togetherness is definitely there.
As England's defender McGay to some tennis news now, and Britain's Emma Raducanu has missed out on a place in the Eastbourne International semi-finals, going down 6-2, 6-2 to Daria Kazatkina on Thursday. Russian Kazatkina stormed ahead to claim a dominant first sets, and though Raducanu recovered from an early break in the second to break straight back, she was no match for the rest of the encounter. That's your sports. Log on to citisportsonline.com for more sports stories. Well, we'll be here later this evening at 7 p.m. for Sports Panorama. I am Bernard Autry. Sports is live. Get involved.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. If you need unique services, innovative financial solutions, we deliver on our promise, cause we are number one. Let's go, we improve your life. Let's go, let's go, hey mama, hey mama, hey mama. Even when you're stuck with nothing, come to let's go. No matter your situation, come to let's go. Let's go, we improve your life. Let's go, hey, let's go, hey, let's go, hey mama, hey mama, hey mama. Let's go, we improve your life.
It's not just a service station. It's a place you get more for every visit. It's not just a place to fill your tank. It's a place to fulfill your cravings. From chicken to chocolate, caramel or the tasty latte. It's not just a place to service your car. It's the perfect place to wash your ride. It's a place where convenience, love, friendship, joy and laughter assemble. Because it all starts at Shell. Visit Shell today and enjoy a wide array of services and offers under one roof. It starts at Shell.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Going up? Yes. After you. No, you first. No, please. I insist. You first. I wouldn't dare, my friend. You first. Beauty before brains, my friend. You first. The honor would be mine. You first.
Oh, my word. And I hear they were there the whole day. Our employees take our You First philosophy to a whole new level. Get used to a bank that believes in putting you first. FBN Bank is now First Bank Ghana. First Bank Ghana. You first.
Yes, you listening to me on the radio. I know exactly what you need, and I go sort you out. But first, quick introduction. Me be the connection man. I'll make this happen. Whether it be business, fashion, or the latest trend in town, I go connect you. I know when people connect, big things they happen. I am the plug to your plug. Anything you want, that's I go show you where options they line them up for you. You want download or you want stream? Link up. I got you. I conquer everywhere. From Circle to KJTR. If you come to Navrum, Jiosu to Kita, Techima to Kumbungu. I'll be the link between you and the next big opportunity. It be me where I go connect you, make it happen. Oh, you want to know my name? I am Telecel.
Switch to Telecel for the best value voice and data services and connect to the things that matter. Connecting dreams, connecting goals, connecting passions.
Telecel, connecting energies.
In a world where only the best survives, you need a fuel that can match your drive. A fuel with unparalleled protection for your engine, superior efficiency, and unrivaled performance. A fuel so unbeatable, when you get behind the wheel, you'll focus on what really matters. The journey ahead. That fuel is Shell V-Power, because no other fuel gives your engine better protection, better efficiency, and better performance. Be unbeatable. Drive unbeatable. Shell V-Power. Shell, go well.
Is your essay ready? Have you already submitted it? In 2024, who will be crowned the new champion? We're getting closer and closer to the deadline for submission. As a JHS student, don't miss out on the opportunity to win a whopping 10,000 Ghana cedis and an entire year of bragging rights for being the very best JHS student in Ghana. Additionally, you get to have your voice and thoughts heard nationwide as you contribute to national discourse. Here's how to join the Literacy Challenge 2024. In not less than 600 words, write about the role of the youth in shaping the future of Ghana. What changes would you like to see, and how can young people contribute to making them happen? Scripts must be in your own handwriting. Script must be endorsed by a parent. Add your full contact details. Deadline Saturday the 13th of July 2024. Submit entries to the front desk of Channel 1 TV or Citi FM, or send it to P.O. Box GP 14123 Accra Central. For inquiries, call 0205 973 973. The Literacy Challenge 2024 is powered by Citi FM, supported by Channel 1 TV, and is sponsored by Ghana National Gas Company, Alive Soap. Feel fresh, feel alive. From the house of Wilma Africa Limited. Fortune spread for bread. Yummy, delicious, always on point. Another quality product from Wilma Africa Limited. Ruby Biscuits by M4 Foods and Prospectus Ghana Limited.
Channel 1 TV is live on DSTV, GoTV, and HD+. On DSTV, find us on Channel 363. On GoTV, we're on Channel 117. And on HD+, get us on Channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search. But take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Channel 1 TV. Channel 1 TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box, like the DSTV and HD+ boxes. Channel 1 TV. Telling your story, empowering change.
Get ready for awesome! The Samsung Galaxy A05 is here to improve your mobile experience. Unleash the brilliance of the Galaxy A05's stunning screen. From vibrant videos to crisp photos, say goodbye to dull displays. 50 megapixels, folks. Grab memories like a pro, whether it's a family gathering or a breathtaking sunset. The Galaxy A05's camera turns moments into masterpieces. And guess what? No more frequent charging with up to 2 days of power. You are unstoppable. The Samsung Galaxy A05 is your passport to innovation. Grab yours today and step into the future.
Accra and many parts of Ghana face many challenges each year, including inadequate housing and flooding. Many lack access to affordable, safe, and sustainable housing. Meanwhile, yearly flooding disrupts lives, destroys property, and takes a toll on the economy. This is why the Bench 2024 seeks to bring together key stakeholders to tackle Ghana's housing and hydrology challenges through collaboration. Under the theme, Enhancing Collaboration to Tackle Ghana's Housing and Hydrology Challenges, we will work together to create lasting change. Join us at the Labadi Beach Hotel, Accra from July 2nd to 4th, 2024 to be part of the change. For more details and to secure your spot, visit www.benchmwh.mwh.gov.gh or call 0249 532 984 today. See you at the Bench 2024.
Get ready for the splash of a lifetime. The Channel 1 TV National Swimming Championship is here. On the 13th and 14th of July 2024, witness the ultimate test of tenacity and endurance, where teamwork and camaraderie meet the thrill of competition. Join us at the world-class Bortainment Sports Complex at 9 a.m. Be part of the excitement as swimmers from across the nation compete for glory. Powered by Channel 1 TV in partnership with 97.3 Citi FM and the Swimming Association. Don't miss out on the action. The Channel 1 TV National Swimming Championship, where champions are made. See you there. The date again is the 13th and the 14th of July 2024. The venue is a brand new world-class Bortainment Sports Complex and the time is 9 a.m. each day. The Channel 1 TV National Swimming Championship. Dive into greatness.
Hello? Yo, bro! SG Ghana has done it again. Low interest rates on loans this year too. Yatisubium.
Kojo, I'm at church.
Better double your offering because SG Ghana is about to bless you. Yatisubium. Low, very low interest rates on loans this year too. It's difficult to keep good news to yourself, especially when it can transform your life and those close to you. SG Ghana went low on interest rates last year, and this year we are even lower. Yes, Yatisubium. Get the money you need to turn your dreams into a reality. Visit any SG Ghana branch near you and speak to our dedicated staff about the amazing Yatisubium loans today. You can also call 0302-214-314 for more details.
Kojo, it's 3 a.m. What now?
Yatisubium, oh, Yatisubium. Okay, bye. Societe Generale Ghana. The future is you.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation. The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
Unleashing the power of relevant
watching highlights of the U.S. presidential debate between President Joe Biden and President Donald Trump. And, the world is in trouble. That's all I would say. The world is in trouble. No, seriously, we cannot pretend as though what happens in the U.S. doesn't affect us. Because in this world, they are the most powerful country. So you can say US, EU, China are the big countries. So whatever happens in those places invariably affects us. They support us in many ways. Look at what USAID do. All right. Yes. So the US is very, very powerful country. Today we're talking about $4.5 billion of remittances. And I can say that comes into Ghana, probably 40% is US or more. Yes. You find right? Because people, let's just make this straight. Your relatives in the US are less chiseled than your relatives in the UK. That one is true. We all know this. That's what that one there. That's what I don't even want to legislate it. So for all of you who have relatives abroad, the American people send you more money than the British people. The British, they are chiseled. Generally. So that 4.5 billion, I'm sure a lot of it is from the US. So if the US does well, our people do well. We have doctors in the US. The number of Ghanaian professionals in nursing, healthcare, transportation in the US is a lot. Almost every family in Ghana has a relative in either the US or the UK. So if the US does well, it benefits us. All right. So to have the world's most powerful country have a high-profile debate involving two essentially flawed candidates, it's a very, very sobering time for. You understand? Like you have President Biden, obviously is not physically up to it. Possibly not even mentally. Based on the performance on that debate. All right, we've seen parallels of that in our past in Ghana. Yeah. So we have experienced there where you keep pushing somebody who you say is healthy. Oh, he's strong. Oh, he's okay. Charlie, look, even to be the head of a company, you must have a certain energy to run a small business. Not to talk of to be the managing director of a big company. Then to talk of to be the MC of a constituency. Yeah. Then to be a president of a developing country. All right. Then to be a president of the world's most powerful country. It's not a small thing. Physically, emotionally, mentally, you must be on top. Based on what we saw yesterday, the world is in trouble. And then, of course, the opposite. President Trump is a flawed candidate. Those who love him, yesterday Robert Hinson said something. I was at an event where Robert Hinson said, strong brands are equally loved and equally hated. So he says when you're a strong brand, he said they attract as much as they repel. It's also powerful. So he says very strong brands are people who strongly dislike them too. You get it? So you take Real Madrid, it's a strong brand. Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo is a very strong brand. You either love him or Trump is like that. So Trump has people who will die for him and there are people who can't stand him. He's a strong brand. But he's flawed. First US president to have been convicted as a felon. With even the fact that he's a former president coming under the circumstances that he left, the attack on the Capitol. And so all people who won the world, because his opponent, he kept accusing the opponent of overseeing a third world war. Let's not downplay that. So I know we'll discuss our issues here, but we should very humble. We should all be very humble, whatever system we have. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because we were trained to say, oh, the West is the best, democracy in the way they practice it and their interpretation of it is the best. If I'm in Russia or China watching the US presidential debate, I'll say, ooh, I have a chance here. Because even though US has strong institutions, having in the US, personality is very strong. The Obama presidency, the Bush presidency, remember the men and the women, or the men who led the US. So US, even though they have very strong institutions, they still push strong leadership. So to have two very flawed men wanting to lead the world's most powerful country at a time where the world is facing, it's called a what's the word I want to use? we are in a serious season of polycrisis. Polycrisis. What's polycrisis? Climate crisis, health crisis with COVID that didn't feel go, economic crisis and leadership crisis. So we are in a polycrisis in a multipolar world. I mean, it's crazy. You know, so are you going to go for the man who wants to redefine truth and redefine what democracy means based on his strong personality? He lives in his own universe. Or a man who his supporters claim is defending democracy, but could not string a coherent sentence together in the first 10 minutes of a debate. It's serious. It's serious. It's very, very serious. Like, you know, anyway, so, and US is not that far. People shouldn't think that US is like, what happens in the US affects you. What happens in the US affects you. I mean, yesterday we were talking about cement. Why is cement expensive? The world's, almost like the world's currency of exchange is the US dollar. Right? So if they decide to, whatever they do to their dollar affects all of us. Yes. When Janet Yellen in May 2022 decided to reduce interest rates, increase interest rates, our economy almost collapsed because of that. So, and yet this, DWFSM is nice. DWFSM is nice to say, but it's not actually very true. No, I'm serious. You know, there are some things we say which sound nice, but are not very true when you interpret them. You want to do DWFSM, because if your neighbor keeps beating his wife and keeps shooting his pets and leaves his house to overrun with weeds, if you say you deal with DWFSM, snakes will enter your house the next day. So DWFSM is simplistic, but it's not true. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not taking on meals. I'm just making a point that some of the things we say are very nice to hear, but they are not very true. A lot of the things we believe, like why should you do DWFSM? If you're an estate and who do DWFSM, you will not pay for the common areas, and there will be crime in your estate. Maybe he said it in the context of, let's not interfere in other people's affairs.
Yeah.
True. But we must be concerned and also come to our own country. Because don't forget, even the IMF deal we got, the US is on the managing board of the IMF, and their help even helped us to get it. So whoever leads the US and their direction and policy towards us is very powerful. That doesn't mean we shouldn't be self-determinant. So watching that spectacle was quite fascinating.
It was.
It was quite, I mean, I don't know. It was quite. Anyway, let me pay my bills. Then I'll continue. Okay. Let's take it.
You know, you see, I mean, it was really difficult watching President Biden yesterday, or early this morning. It was
painful.
It was painful, and I do not think that any hero, because he is. I mean, for the years that he's led. You know, his people in the Senate, and then what he did for foreign policy. Of course, there are many things that I disagree with, but he is a pillar to a large extent of American democracy.
Yeah.
And of course, he wanted to be president much earlier. Had to fall out because of issues of claims that were made that he were not exactly true, and then allegedly copying somebody and all kinds of things. But he's defined himself. I do not think that the people handling him should push him into a second round.
Oh, he shouldn't do a second debate.
I don't think he should, and I don't think that he should run again.
Serious?
Yes, because
it was that bad.
It was that bad. It was. You see, all along we've been seeing from clips that there are times that he will wander off.
Yeah.
We are all human beings. We fall sick every now and then.
Yeah.
But to be the leader, as they put it, of the free world, it demands a lot of attention to detail. They will call you at odd hours to take very difficult
decisions.
And if you have the man looking obviously unwell, and you're pushing him into another round of campaigning, and then running
for another nation. So when he's finished, he will be 86 or 80 something.
I don't think the Democrats pushing him are being fair to the American people and themselves. And I believe that.
So you think it was bad enough for him to even say no.
No. It's just bad. It's disastrous. And if you are a Democrat sitting somewhere and thinking that it would wear off. It's not good. It's not good. It's just not good.
We'll see. The Democrats have got a major decision to make, and when you scan all the portals, right? BBC, CNN, USA Today. Everybody there's a common theme that's running through, and I think there's this general admittance that Mr. Biden had a very horrible showing. So I don't know what they would do.
He needs to have that conversation with the family and the people at the top of the party.
Need to but I know that their system is a bit different in the sense that because I think the delegates have already pledged that he will be the candidate. What they need to do is that if he agrees to step down, then when they go for their convention, then whoever he chooses to give his, do you understand? They've already done the process, so he's there. So they go and then, so basically they can't force him out.
Yes, they can.
They can only put pressure on him to make a decision, but they cannot because he has already gotten pledged delegates.
So this morning, when they wake up in the morning, there should be a delegation to his office first of all. Tell him, Mr. President,
I'm sure they'll have those.
We love you.
No, he's already campaigning. This morning he went to some restaurant and he said, "Oh, Trump they lied to."
You know, that's what I'm saying. There should be a delegation to his office. Mr. President, we admire what you have done for 40 or 50 years for American democracy. But see, and you know, this guy Tony Cruz said something.
Yeah.
And I've come to respect that so much. He said that
Real Madrid German player.
Yeah, German player. He said that, look, I don't want to stay on too long for people to forget the quality of player that I am.
That's deep, man.
Yeah, that's deep.
So he wants to live when he's
he wants to be remembered.
Yes, as this guy who made the most passes. You understand? So at his best,
when the applause is loud,
exactly, he's leaving. I think people should do something.
Well, whether you like Trump or what's the name of the guy, Biden, you can still eat goat meat. So Chicken Grill brings you 3 days of all you can eat customized buffet for 100 cedis each day. Our buffets are customized such that guests sit comfortably and order their meals to be prepared from scratch. You can command, let there be wache, and it will appear. Let there be rice, it will appear. Now, this is on from 29 June, that's tomorrow to 1st July. Call 0533 615 069. Chicken Grill, let them cook. And of course, the Africa Prosperity Network is hosting the continent-wide Mobile Interoperability Symposium on the 5th of July at Labadi Beach Hotel in Accra. Under the theme Scaling Up Interoperability, Using Mobile Money to Buy and Sell Across Africa, this groundbreaking event brings together leaders and policymakers to integrate mobile payment systems and remove barriers to cross-border trade. It supports AFTE's Digital Trade Protocol Initiative, highlighting the importance of interoperability in the AU's Agenda 2063. For more information, call 030-2737-879 or leave a message at protocol@africaprosperity.network. And let's talk about an exciting new chocolate beverage out there on the market. From the producers of Cowbell, we introduce Twisco. A chocolate food drink with a blend of premium cocoa powder enriched with Enefort, a combination of energy-boosting minerals and vitamins, including B, C, D, iron, and more. Twisco is available in 20 grams and can be found at your nearest neighborhood store in a delightful red sachet for only 1 CD, 80 pesos. To enjoy all the goodness packed in a sachet, empty the contents into a mug, mix with 180 ml of previously boiled water, and then the rest is for your throat. This advert is FDA approved.
Now, this September, Global Wings Travel and Tours taking everybody to Singapore and Malaysia. Go to Kuala Lumpur and experience the sights and sounds there, and then go to Singapore and experience the wonderful things they have there. Call 0550-188-181 or 0553-688-398 or get them on social at Global Wings Travel GH. Now, as a business, you are exploring innovative ways to maximize your operations and foster growth in today's dynamic environment. And ABSA wants to help you, so they've brought the ABSA Supply Finance Program so you can pay your suppliers early. Visit absa.com.gh or speak with your relationship manager to find out more. Your story matters, ABSA. Nexus Global Services Limited is leading you to over 100 top hospitals and doctors in Turkey so you can get high-quality healthcare at unbeatable prices. Speak to them on 0539-659-259 or go to their office at Crisport Hospital in Dome Paraku or visit their website nexusgsl.com to find out more. And the new order of retirement is here. You can now retire on your own terms with a monthly or guaranteed monthly income for the rest of your life.
I think you should tell Biden the thing you are reading.
That he needs this one.
But you say you can retire on your own terms. You know,
So he has to retire.
Sky is saying Biden should retire or be retired. So the thing you are reading is from which company?
Old Mutual.
So Old Mutual has good advice.
And they've been here for long. So they understand
basically. So you can retire on your own terms. You know, either you fell or I fell. Retire or you retire.
So yeah, that's it. So they are saying that simply invest a lump sum into the Old Mutual retirement salary plan today and start receiving monthly income to enjoy the perfect retirement. Call 050-453-4333 or visit oldmutual.com or dial *789*01# to request a call. Obra pa ahoton kwa. Old Mutual, do great things every day.
America, America, America.
But I think I remember when the song came first, it was about South Africa and apartheid. You know, America should break the neck of this apartheid. And the way Alpha speaks English, if you don't listen to him carefully, 1939, 1945, Nazi war in Europe. Today, 1985, Hitler on the rise in South Africa. Yeah. So I think I heard this song in the 80s, 87, 88 or something. It was a very popular song. And it just goes to show you, in our lifetime, in every era, there's been a dominant power. Mm-hmm. So if you were born in the days of Jacob and Esau, it was Egypt. If you were born in the days of Daniel, it was Babylon. Then if you were born in the days of Nehemiah, it was the Medes and the Persians. Well, it keeps going. There was a time where
the Romans
were in charge. Before that, the Greeks. All right. Then even prior to that, there was Artaxerxes. Mm-hmm. So history always has a superpower. All right. Now, in our lifetime, the superpower is America.
Yes.
I mean, UK was a superpower probably from 17 something to 18 something. And by the way, a superpower is always based on a means of exchange money, means of transport. The UK were the masters of the craft of navigation.
Yeah, going to sea.
They were masters. Yeah. So for a long time, empire was king. And of course, the US taking over, particularly after Pearl Harbor. So US affects all of us, okay? And I'm sure every president in the country is interested in who's US president. I mean, look, our president was meeting Zelensky last 2 weeks.
Yes.
And still talking about how the Russia-Ukraine war affected food prices in Ghana. Guys, you just understand. Meanwhile, President Trump was accusing Joe Biden of overseeing. He basically said, if I were president, this war wouldn't have happened. And a lot of people will say, we didn't really want this war to happen. Okay? And then he says Biden is weak and probably leading us into a third world war. Fine, you can say Trump lies and everything else. But if you look at the kind of things happening in the world today, what China does with Taiwan, what Russia is doing in Ukraine, and all those other things happening in various parts of the world, clearly the world needs leadership. And you know, when I was in the university and prior to 9/11, the US was the dominant power. Now we're in an era of power shifts as well. So as I said, between the Second World War and the end of the Cold War, the US has become, because when there was the Cold War, the Russians were trying to compete. Now the US is the world's dominant power. But now there's a power shift. So what's happening is that it's not just that China is rising, so that is a shift from west to east. There's also power diffusion. So let me explain. So there are two things happening in the world. US was the dominant power from the Second World War probably till the year 2001. What happened in 2001 and what Al-Qaeda shows us is that there's also a power diffusion from state to non-state actors. So in the past, you needed to be organized as a government, IMF, World Bank, Bretton Woods institution, US government, EU, to be powerful. But Osama shows us that you can have a group of people hiding in the Tora Bora mountains and still change the way we live. Do you get it? So now you have Al-Shabaab, you have IS. What's happening in our Sahel? So what I'm saying is that the world is a very different place than it was when we crafted the Washington Consensus, which is why I get frustrated when I listen to our leaders always refer to old notes. Economists refer to old neoliberal ideas. The world has changed. All right? We're in an era of AI in a multipolar world. The powers, no one power can do anything. If the US was so powerful, why is Russia pummeling Ukraine? It can't do anything. It's not the same. You think it was 19? Why is Alpha Blondy asking America to intervene in apartheid? Because he could. Why can't US go? Now Trump is even saying that NATO, they don't contribute anything. He pays everything, so they should also pay. So nobody wants to go and kill himself because of your own war. You need to take care of yourself. But also, state actors, governments are under fire. Look, the uprising since the voting against the ANC, what's happening in Kenya, our leaders don't have the answers because they are using old notes. They are using old notes because this generation of people, they are not used to some of the things you used to tell them in the past.
They want better. Reminds me of something the late Madeleine Albright said when she was on David Axelrod's podcast, The Axe Files. She said, we have 21st century problems, but leaders are trying to use 20th century solutions.
100%. That's deep, and I 100% agree. As I said, because you have a lot of non-state actors, celebrities, social media, deep fakes, cryptocurrency, all of these things are very difficult to manage. If you are the governor of a Bank of Ghana, you are not just concerned about macroeconomics policy, inflation.
No,
there are people trading crypto everywhere.
You get me? In the papers this morning, was it one of the, I can't remember, one of the portals talking about people being careful of loan giving apps.
What I'm trying to say is that if you are a leader in 2024, the complexity means that you cannot use the notes you were taught in secondary school. Do you know what I'm saying? So I was at a program 3 days ago. BOG was there. They were talking about fintechs. The world, even the way we spend money has changed. So the way we lead has to change. And when you look at the US, US is great with technology. Silicon Valley is powerful, all right? But I don't think the two men they've put to lead the world are fit for purpose. They live in a different era for the kind of world we have. The kind of, look, the average age of the average human being on earth was born after the year 2000, all right? So they don't even understand the Cold War the way they ought to understand it. What I'm trying to say is that we need fresher, more nimble leadership, which appreciates the complexities, all right, and understands the realities of the power shifts we have seen, where you cannot just get up and say, my way or the highway, which is why I think Trump is also a challenge in some of the things he says. But yesterday, watching him, watching, if I were an American voting, I can't vote for Biden. Do you understand? And that's very serious for me to say, because you can say that generally on the way I see the world, probably more democratic leaning than Republican, although on some social issues I may be red if I were in America. But I will probably, as a black person, more like based on everything, would have voted democratic. But if I were a Democrat watching that thing yesterday, no. But if I were pushed to the wall to make a choice, you see, because Trump also says a lot of things are not true. But you see, the debate yesterday was not, and people need to learn this, the debate was not about issues. So the Democrats missed the trick. The debate is not about healthcare, abortion, economy. The debate is about these two men who can lead the world's most powerful country. That, and you see, when you listen to all the analysts, they were like, oh, Biden won the debate on the issues. What are the issues? Trump redefined the issue. The debate's about me standing here. You've tried to put me in prison. You've tried to convict me. Versus this guy. He can't call him this guy. He said this guy cannot run 50 meters. He said he can't hit a golf ball 50 meters. This guy should do a health check. He doesn't even understand what he's saying. Okay? So the debate is about the two men and who can lead the world. And on the basis of the debate, if I were making a choice, oh, bro.
Look, what?
It will be tough because you see, Trump to some way.
Like you said, they are two flawed men.
I'll tell you.
Two flawed men. Two men who
extremely
come to the table
flawed
with a lot of baggage.
We have always, all humans are flawed, aren't they?
True, but true. That's true. But you see, you have to admit that US is in a difficult situation. They're in a difficult situation because they frame this. You see, they have created a problem for it. They frame this thing as if. Okay, this is what they've said. The Democrats, they claim that Trump is anti-democracy and that he has even vowed that from day one he will be a dictator. So they need somebody to stand up against a dictator to lead the world's biggest democracy. That's what they've said. Mm-hmm. Now, if you frame this thing about a man who's anti-democratic, because according to them, the attack against the Capitol was engineered by him and all of those things. So is this the man to stop the guy who's going to fight democracy?
You see,
is this what you have? Is this what the people who want to save democracy, is this the best they can give?
I think it's almost always fair when people who are democratic leaning sort of attack Trump's record and say that, oh yes, he led people to attack the Capitol Hill. Of course, Trump made very irresponsible statements in the lead up to what happened. Mm-hmm. But nobody can say that he stood anywhere and said, pick up guns, pick up sticks, pick up clubs, and head in there and attack people. Of course, his demeanor in the lead up, and then also some of the things he said on the stage prior to this thing happening, very, very unsettling. But to frame it as, oh, he was anti-democracy and he's the reason we should not, even think as Americans to give him back the presidency, it's some way. Look, but for COVID-19 and how he was perceived to have managed it, I don't think that Joe Biden would have become president. Because if you look at it, boot for boot, on all the numbers, on almost all the numbers, he was doing fine. COVID came and things went south. Mm-hmm. Now, the question that Americans should ask themselves is whether after 3 or so 4 years in office, Biden has showed them that he is capable of leading them for another 4 years. And whether the world is in better hands with Biden in charge for the next 4 years. I mean, if you look at the record.
And when you say better, you are talking physically and mentally, not necessarily policy-wise.
But also the safety of the world, Bernard. I mean, let's not deny it. When Trump was in charge, we did not necessarily have new wars being fought by America. There were legacy wars that were in. Of course, he went after somebody in the Middle East who had killed him. When these guys, what's the name? The guys that were forming the new country.
So he wasn't interested in some of the conventional foreign policy thrust of the country that was quite hawkish.
Exactly. He wanted to get out of Afghanistan. He was talking about how to ensure that we did not see the crisis in the Middle East degenerate. Of course, he moved the capital of Israel from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, which
caused a lot of problems.
Yeah, that's right. The U.S. The U.S. consulate, which created a lot of problems. But in terms of the safety of the world, we didn't see the crisis we're seeing in Ukraine presently. The Ukrainian crisis, or the crisis in Ukraine, has created so much problem for the world. And recently, the Paul Boateng was talking about it right here in Ghana.
Yeah.
Now, the question we should ask ourselves is whether
Biden will be able to provide the leadership that will take us out of the troubles.
In the state that is
see what is happening in Israel.
Yeah.
Between Israel and Hamas. See the crisis in there. And he is presiding over all of that. Now the question you and I should ask ourselves is whether if we look
is he
at
the president of the world?
No, I mean America.
Go on. I'm just teasing.
America provides the kind of leadership because at the UN Security Council, if they say no, all things fall. If they say yeah, things move in a certain direction. Yeah. Of course, the Russians are also throwing their weight about, and then also China is also speaking economically. So I think that when it comes down to it, what needs to happen is that the Americans have got to go back and do their homework. The Democrats seriously must look at themselves and ask themselves whether they have been honest to the American people from day one about the health
of the man.
Exactly. Because there are serious issues.
But if you cannot survive a 1.5 hour debate, look at the levels of meetings they have to go into.
Hours and hours and hours.
The question is who has been taking the decisions all along?
Meetings are quite tasking.
Yeah. The thing with Trump, though, is that the reason a lot of conventional people, even in the Republican Party, don't like him is because he takes on institutions and he wants to rebuild. He wants to break up the system in a way. So, for example, some of the people he appointed, his immediate family and friends in government in the US is quite unconventional. Yeah. The way he communicates his foreign policy, his decision to go and meet the North Korean leader and shake hands with him, And because of the way the people of America have become suspicious of their establishment, his rhetoric can be appealing. Never mind the fact that he's called out many times for speaking untruths. The real G for them would have been Bernie Sanders. But the country, every country has something it struggles with. And the US is so inherently capitalistic that if they paint the socialist brush on you, they finished you.
Yeah.
Never mind that a lot of the young university students actually agree with his policies. Because US essentially is being hijacked by big banks and multinationals who influence politics through their lobbies. That's what they do. Yeah. And Bernie Sanders' ideas around the loan, student loans, and how to get people to pay was actually a very good idea. But the US, I think the US, they worship money. That's the way I see it. They love money a lot. That's what I'm saying. So the capitalist mindset of the US meant that anything that any leader would do in that country that would threaten the stranglehold of the big corporations and the big banks on the country will be vehemently fought. So Bernie Sanders' support, I think some of Bernie Sanders' support actually went to Trump. Because people prefer somebody who will come and break up the system because the system is not working for them. Yeah. Young people are suffering, students, the poor. So even though Trump is a Republican, his rhetoric sometimes appeals to people who are even at the lower circles. You see, so they've dug themselves into a hole. They've created this monster out of socialism. Meanwhile, a lot of European countries, you see, we caricature things to make a point. Fine. If you look at communism and what it stands for, it's like the antithesis of capitalism. But even in the UK, they are very socialist in a lot of things they do. Mm-hmm. If you go to UK, all the houses have the same color. First, we were laughing at Russia that they had never and ladder, that their cars are all looking the same. Why are all houses in the UK the same? Why are so many things? Why is their health service?
Yeah, the NHS.
You get it? So every country. So I'm saying that we should liberate ourselves. We should be proponents of many theories, but servants or slaves of none. Don't box yourself and say, as for me, I'm capitalist. As for me, I'm socialist. Be pragmatic. That's what the Chinese guy who, incidentally, the guy who brought China out of the doldrums, he's a pragmatist. Okay? We must be pragmatic. What works? In some instances, you must be socialist. In some instances, you must be capitalist. Sometimes let the market lead. In some so in some areas like healthcare, you can't let the market lead because the market is ruthless when it comes to health. So government must play a role. But in certain instances, let the market lead because the government is incompetent. The government cannot run certain kinds of business. But when we go to school, it's like they are educating us to box us into one part. That's why Madeleine Albright is right. That the 21st century problems, 20th century was all about labels. Typified by Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher. who infamously said that consensus is the negation of leadership. Think about that. How can a Prime Minister of Britain say that consensus is the negation? That's what she said.
But it's subject to debate.
No, but my point is that we in Ghana today, we are asking for consensus because we feel like there are some issues we all need to agree on. Consensus is part of leadership. I'm making a point. I'm saying that what she said and the way she said it epitomizes the stark contrast. You are left or right, Democrat or Republican, NDC or MPP. You are either socialist or capitalist. You are either Russia or America. And I'm saying that the world we are in is more nuanced than complex. There are some problems that you need to be left, some problems you need to be right. What you need is a leader with the breadth and the humility to admit that it can't be my way or the highway. You get it? So, and Sky's point, 2024 doesn't need leaders who are either left or right necessarily. We need leaders with nuance, who are flexible. Indeed, if you ask me, what are the top 10 skills you need in a worker? They call it cognitive flexibility. Why should you be flexible? Because things are not the way they seem to be. Why is AI powerful? Because AI is flexible and nimble. AI is not either left or right. We are in a world of complexity. Complexity asks many questions. We just ask one question. Is it from my hometown? Is it from my tribe? Is it from my church? To societies that do well, they are led, the public discourse has layers of complexity. Do you understand me? I hope I'm not sounding esoteric. So what we are saying is that where the world is today, and which is why they are, and I am saying that they brought it upon themselves. They brought, by the way, the policies they push, they brought them. Now they are hot. There was even a guy on CNN who was almost in tears.
Van Jones.
That he loves Biden, but Biden no force, so he has to take a decision. We all have to be humble, and we should also learn from this.
Yeah.
That if we keep pushing this NDC and PP thing, one day we'll have two very flawed. Some people who cannot lead, but we will be forced to make a choice between the devil and the deep blue sea because we have pushed brinkmanship and partisanship to its absurd limit. So it's a call also for consensus. It's a call for us to it's a call for humility.
Bernard, I think we are already there. Face it. Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo marketed to us Dr. Bawumia as the man to solve our economic problems. Here we are with the state of the economy, and I'm not going to make a pronouncement on that because the facts speak for themselves. You also had, President Mahama, who was supposed to be the savior after President Mills left, but Ghanaians roundly rejected him when he served just one term. So if you look at the situation in the US, you are likely to come to the conclusion that we have a similar situation here. The question facing Ghanaians in December is whether they want to go back to a man they rejected, 8 years prior, or they want to stay with someone who played deputy to a man who sent them down the economic quicksand we find ourselves in presently. It is a difficult question to ask, but is there an alternative? You see, Bernard's talking about nuance. The nuances will come in where you have a citizenry so sophisticated enough to understand the complex issues. What do people care about? I am from, Adafianu, and therefore all my people are like this. So if you come out and you say, oh, you are not like that, then there is a problem. Oh, I am from the Ashanti region. It has to be this way. And if it is not that way, then there's a problem. But you ask yourself, for 8 years that these people have been in power, the water problem that you have in your constituency, has anybody thought about an innovative way of solving it? Have they fixed the roads in such a way as to turn the farm that you have into a real producer capable of exporting to the wider world? No. The things you produce, the tomatoes, they go bad after 3 or 4 days or 5 days or 6 days. Is there somebody truly thinking about how to turn your community into a factory or a hotspot for factories so that they can turn your tomatoes into something truly worthy of being exported into the wider world so that it is canned properly, you can store it for so many years and all of that? It's not happening. But it comes down to, Are you NDC or you are MPP? Should I give you this job because are you one of us or can you? Those are the questions that they ask. And that is why in December...
We are heading down the same route.
Exactly. We are headed in the same direction. Are there people in the race who can provide alternative on the current state of things?
Possibly, but we don't know.
It's some way.
We'll test it.
But you see, the fact that I get your point that we may be here, but the point is once a third force has not emerged, most people will be forced to make that decision, and they will make that decision come December. Either it's NDC or it's MPP. So I believe that at a point we will have to figure out if or when a third force will emerge. But like I said a few days ago, the point is we live in a highly politicized environment.
Yeah.
So even when, and the citizenry has become extremely suspicious.
Yeah.
So even when a third force says, I want to be that third option, people will ask us, this guy, who does he have links to?
That's the thing.
Does he have links to red or green? All of that,
It's tough. It's tough because you see, I listened to Reverend S.N. Mensah on Umaru's show 2 days ago. A lot of people are trying to create a third force. They are trying to come together because the other thing, you're right, most people will not trust the third force if you don't have enough people. And lots of the smaller parties, everybody wants to head it. So the test for the third force is also, even though you may feel I'm better than Nathan, for the interest of the third force, I must let Nathan lead it. They have to pass that test because as of now, there are so many smaller groups. Some of them are trying to come together. So for a long time, we've been seeing the decline of our smaller parties.
Yes,
I did that for you to show you.
If you run the numbers,
so percentage-wise,
have been going down
because they also don't want to. You see, and if you want to come and solve a problem of what you perceive to be selfishness by two big parties, you cannot use selfishness to solve that problem if you're also selfish. So the test for the small parties is to say, okay, I may have more sense than Nathan Kwao, but if Nathan Kwao is the leader of this group and he seems to have the support, let's all go with him in the supreme interest of breaking the duopoly. But in Ghana, everybody thinks he's the wisest. So you look at the number of independent parties, IPP, something PP. So in a way, the multiplicity of all these things undermine and perpetuates the duopoly. So you know the strange thing about Ghana, we almost always mirror the US. It's apart from the 2020 election, where the Democrats won and the MPP won. So from 92, it's been the same. And now we are going to have a former president and another former president on the ticket. You get it? So it's a very strange and in a funny way, our system is a bit closer to theirs because the British system is parliamentary. The American system is presidential.
Vote, yeah.
And for some reason, we have our partisanship is quite similar to the Democrat. But you see, the point is that they have stronger institutions. So with all that Trump did, for example, the US's development aid, World Bank and IMF still continued. USAID was still working, even though Trump was a maverick president who had very different ideas about even NATO. Trump had very different ideas, but there was enough history in US for certain things to continue under him. Many small African countries, if somebody like Trump becomes president, so take Gambia, he basically just took over the country. Yahya Jammeh, I'm talking about. So we cannot afford to go their way because they have 300 years to build a strong Senate, to build a strong
House of
Fed.
Reps.
Do you see where I'm going?
Build a federal system.
But we haven't built. We are rather pushing our political people to destroy. So now you go to civil service. People are NDC and PP. They are sacking people. We are even appointing people. The classic example for me, the president is the one who appoints the PRO of Ghana Gas. How? And they announce it that it's too much. You get it? So we don't have the buffers, institutional strength to afford the kind of partisanship. Every country that developed from third world to first world had a number of things. There is no, and you see, I say this a lot of care. No country developed with the type of system when US or UK or all those countries were becoming superpowers. They didn't have the kind of thing we have. Universal adult suffrage for all citizens. Because you see, Sky says something. Decisions are complex. Most citizens in many countries live on the simplistic level. Not even simple, simplistic level. So they don't get the nuance. So as Sky said, I'm from this place, I vote for this guy. So before you give people the universal adult suffrage, there must be a little bit of sophistication in the population. But we have chosen to do universal adult suffrage at the time where our development hasn't gone to a certain stage. So we have to do it in our image. You see why traditional leadership is gaining authority again? Because that's the system that we perfected. That's the system we master. That's the system we know. That's the system we understand. I will tell you, when you go to our parliament, Sky can confirm this. Most of the arguments on parliament are not on substance. They are on procedure. Why? Do you think that when people go to a chief's palace, they argue on procedure? No. The procedure is clear. They know what to do. Because we've done it for many years. But we are now learning a system. So, when we rise on our feet to speak, it's almost always the lawyers who are telling us he went. So now we have lawyers who have masters in Ghana because of procedure, not on substance. Do you know what I'm saying? So, and this is what, and I'm not saying we should jettison the system, but you need to admit that the system you have chosen, that system you have not mastered it. So US can afford to have a Trump and a Biden because Congress has certain things it's done. IMF and World Bank is there. The credit rating agencies are there. The USAID is there, and they have certain things they've built in that even if Trump decides to go off charts, US will still maintain. You don't have that. A president can do so many things in Ghana to undermine the you understand? And your parliament is very weak. And the people who are even trying to get in there are not going there because they want to even make legislative change. They are going in there because they're going to position them to be seen by the president, to give them a post. And indeed, some people even want to wash themselves with politics, so they go and do bad things in other countries and come and do you understand? So I am saying that Ghana should be very careful. We can watch Trump and Biden and say, hey, US, but they will still dominate for your lifetime because your citizens don't even have enough food to eat. You haven't even answered the basic questions, and yet you have a democracy that is expensive. No country that you've studied, Malaysia, South Korea, Singapore, even Rwanda, countries that we talk about who have made progress, they don't make that progress with the way we go about it. And people listening to me can confirm. To move from what is called third world to first world with universal adult suffrage, partisan politics, and money involved at the very lowest level, no, it's tough. So if you're going to run that system, you either have to educate the people quickly enough or build institutions that can withstand the weaknesses of the system you are building. Do you know where I'm going? Mm-hmm. So we should not laugh at the Americans alone. As guys saying, if we continue the way we are going, it will be worse for us. It will be worse because the institutions are not even there. Yeah. You get me? So we have a bigger problem.
You see, I saw something remarkable yesterday. A friend of mine in Kenya sent me the press statement issued by the Chief Justice of Kenya, condemning how the police and the military had responded to the demonstration in Kenya. And it's something really refreshing, very remarkable.
Yeah.
Throughout the life of the Fourth Republican Constitution, there have been egregious violations of the rights of demonstrators in many ways. But never have we had a strongly worded statement, but carefully worded, by a Chief Justice condemning the acts.
True.
There are those purists who say that, the Chief Justice should be careful because the matters ultimately will come back to you in court so for you to panel and put together a panel and then decide and all of that. But you see, as a guardian of democracy in your own right, you have earned the right to speak strongly about these things. So that even at the level of the speaker, there are excesses from some other branches. It should be possible to make a constitution wrong. Imagine the Chief Justice of Ghana issues a statement to criticize, for instance,
how police treat demonstrators.
Exactly.
Hey.